and Drake has been close friends ever since the incident happened. And that one incident where Cassie went to Canada with Drake, supposedly working on music, and they end up going out to a fest where the prosecution or the defense called their witnesses to the stand. All we know is that Drake, and it's been relayed to me that he will not be taking the stand in this trial. He wants nothing to do with anything, says this does not pertain to him, and does not want any of this attention. Seeing what happened to Kid Cudi, where Thugger called him a rat and called him out for being just a turncoat, Drake will not be making a appearance in the trial, which I thought was very relevant to the case, figuring that he was somebody who was allegedly with Cassie and had hands put on him by Diddy, went to the hospital. You would think that there would be some sort of a connection here. But no. This photo is from the mob part, Drake's birthday party that he had. Well, it was mob themed. Everybody had to dress up like mobsters. You know, Drake just wanted a mob party for my mob ties. Yeah, it was his mob ties birthday party, so everybody was a mob theme. So the fact that everyone said, "What about the club you got? What about a club you got?" You talking about that? That's a whole different situation. You must be on my Patreon, because then you would know. Uh, the share club, is that what you're talking about? That's a different situation because see, that's not the United States. If that was in the United States, they'd have been raided that place. But over in Canada, they move a little differently. But this should tell Drake that he needs to tread lightly with all the stuff going on with him. I don't think he wants to go down that road. Well, there's different avenues for them to take. Yes, free Diddy. Yeah, well, if someone is stuck in a trial that doesn't make any sense to you or the American public, you got to start asking yourself why. Well, that's what I ask myself. Why is this the case? Why are we here? Mm-hmm. Well, there's many layers. That's why. When you have a lot of layers out there, like Diddy has put himself in a situation where you have different type of support. And when you have a different support system around you, that support system is either going to build itself up or crumble. And what we've seen so far is Sean Diddy Combs like his various options. Now, get ready to hold your head. Sean Diddy Combs, and what we're going to talk about on the Patreon, and I don't think the prosecution is even going to go there because they don't have enough. Yeah, prosecution don't have enough, so they can't say anything. But if the prosecution had enough, they would bring in the Mafia. They would bring in the Genovese Mafia connections. But since most of them are behind bars, for a money laundering scam that went down, that was defrauding people out of at least $750 million. All they could do is tie P. Diddy having a friendship with one of the members of the Genovese Mafia, Mr. Castro. And when he got caught by the feds, him and Diddy still remain good friends. So now that these two have remained good friends, and everyone around has been pretty much on the lam, right? No one has had a scenario that has made any sense. Like, their scenarios are terrible. Everybody in that mob family, they tried to do reality shows. They try to do everything they can. Now, let me tell you about the oxymoron of it, though. This is where it really gets to the crazies. The mob is the biggest, toughest, baddest, right? They're bad. They beat up people, extort them, do heinous crimes, and the government is going to shut them all down, right? What ended up happening? What happened to the mob? Right? If they were so heinous, if they were so bad, if they were the worst of the worst, as the government and everybody keep telling you they are. What's up, Christian? If the mob was so bad, why do they keep making mob movies? Why do they keep promoting and marketing the mob? Why they have theme parties for the mob? Why they have all the costumes laid out, dressed like the mobster? Here's the documentary of Pretty Boy Floyd. If they hate serial killers, why do they market them and make them famous? They tell you about all the serial killers and they keep making movies on them and making money off of them. So who's the real mob? The federal government. They're the real mob. Anything wicked, they promote. Everything they investigate, and stop as a crime, they market. They market that and won't market their faith. So if you market crime, and then crimes happen because you keep marketing crime all day, the highest television shows, all are crime-based dramas. All of them. They know. Top shows on television, crime-based dramas, romantic shows are all off TV damn near. No more of that. Crime, crime, crime. That's what we need. Crime, crime, and more crime. So when a gangster rapper starts rapping about stuff in his environment and he talking all this gangster stuff, why do they sit there and say, oh, all they talk about is violence? You see the oxymoron in that? Now, yes, hospital shows and crime dramas. That's it. If I got a pitch for a new show, it's this cop, right? And he just got to the force. Okay, I like where this is going. Then he encounters a mobster's son. Oh man, this sounds great. Sounds like 6,000 other movies I've seen. Go ahead. Keep this going. And the mobster's son, right? He runs into this guy, but see, he doesn't know this guy's a cop because he knows all the other cops at the force. This guy just got transferred, and they just run into each other at a grocery store. And the mobster's son, he's real cocky because he's a mobster's son. He feels he can't be touched. And him and his cop get into this argument over who's going to take something out of the shopping cart, and you stole that from me. That's the last one I wanted. I'm the mobster's son. And the guy said, you're not getting this because it's mine. I took it. Something as small and innocuous as that has turned this into a big investigation. Oh, that's something different. See, he didn't know he was a cop. It's kind of like John Wick. I love it. He didn't know John Wick was a serial killer, was a hitman for the mob that actually worked with his father. But he killed this dog and took his car. Oh yeah, this is great. So did he take the thing out of his cart? No, he didn't. The other guy stopped him as he had ordered some goons. Oh, there's goons. I like it. Yeah. They tried to subdue the man and take the item out of the cart. And once they tried to do that, then he springs in the action and he cuffs him. You're under arrest. Putting your hands on insulting the police officer, even though he was off duty. But is that even legal? Don't matter. It's a show. Right, entertainment. Keep going. Now he's got him cuffed. Now the guy knows he's messed up. Like, oh no, this is a cop. So now the son tries to run out of the store and he chases him down and tackles him too. What about the goons? Oh, they get beat up. Now the mobster knows his son's in trouble. He hires a lawyer in there saying that this guy didn't follow procedure. Who is this guy? He comes into town. So the security footage just mysteriously disappears. So the police officer's case is his word versus this defendant. And he's talking about suing the police department. So this becomes a big action scene that plays out for the whole season. It's a crime drama. You got lawyers involved, cops on trial. I love it. What we're going to call this show? Cops and Mobsters. Great. Cops and Mobsters. I love it. Get right to the point. How much you need for this? Matter of fact, here's $30 million. Just get going. We'll throw more money at it as it keeps going. So Cops and Mobsters get made. And they continued on. No, because Aubrey Drake Graham is not slated to take the stand. That's why. Why would he take the stand on something he doesn't need to take the stand on? Well, that's when you know people are playing evil tricks and games out here, and that all these things are turning upside down. The government feels with this lineup and this mountain of evidence of what they like to call it, which is nothing but a mountain of hearsay. No, that's where you're wrong. Hit the like button too, but that's where you're wrong. No, J. Cole, well, he's not going to be heard from in this trial either. Because they fight didn't have anything to do with Cass. Now, yeah, well, that's people's fault. Yeah, that pisses me off. But see, that's always been people's fault, more than anything. Because you gotta have evidence. See, that's why they don't go after mobsters too much. Because mobsters know. One, they're not celebrities. So, swaying the public against a mob figure or a guy they don't know, you know, you got Anthony Regulio over there. Be Anthony Regulio. Tony. Nobody knows him. So it's very easily to persuade the general public? Well, I always tell people, you're always on the clock. Now, I like good people. Good people have always been a staple of how we move this world forward. But what do we define as good? Just because I believe Sean Diddy Combs to be innocent of all charges does not believe I think he's a good man, or what a good man is supposed to be. Is he a woman beater? In my opinion, yes. Absolutely. He's a woman beater. So it's like, why are you supporting a woman beater? I'm not supporting a woman beater. I'm going over a case that's being put fraudulently against a man. Whatever you feel about him, like and dislike of his character as a man or whatever, is not the case. And it's not about what the trial is. This is not indicative of what is the trial. What this is indicative of is people turning one thing into another thing. Something that the world is accustomed to doing. I just don't like to go in those tropes. Ask yourself this question. Why is it? What are they doing now? Just that. Criminally. They were supposed to add that to the fact. Did you ever ask yourself why? Did you ever think to ask yourself, why would they do that? That doesn't seem like it make a lot of sense. Now, the way I see the situations are a little bit different than probably how the rest of the entire world would see a situation. Granted, I've seen people make those same observations beforehand where they make the assumption that the world revolves around, right? Whatever they feel like doing is what's important in the situation. Hmm. Seen that behavior. Let me enlighten you a little bit. The more I see people react to things, the more I see a problem on the horizon. The more I see people direct others into an environment that doesn't usually make sense, the more I see other people being controlled by a narrative, by a perception. They're trying to make you believe that Sean Diddy Combs made a lot of money doing this thing. They can't. The general public knows that Sean Diddy Combs made his money through hit records, through endorsements, and other investments. And he's been doing that for many years. So when you start seeing, oh, Empress, they go. Now, Sean Diddy Combs has made his bones through investments and his hit records. The general public knows if they say, well, how do you think Diddy made his money? You're going to convince them he made it trafficking people? What would be his, this is where I have the problem here. What would be his gain? What is his profit in trafficking? There's no profit in it. He hired a sex worker, like they basically have a company that's listed as their work is means sex work, and it turns into something extra, which they do too on the side. And once they're doing these acts, that's when they want things to change. Okay, I'm gonna have to come in there. Hmm. So when you have all of these different people coming around doing activities of God knows what, right? Where's racketeering? You see, racketeering was put in to say there's a profit. When they go after mobs or gangs or whatever, uh, how is Comb Enterprises a criminal enterprise? It doesn't make any sense. How can you have a criminal enterprise where there's no profit? Where we all know where Sean Diddy Combs made his money. You can go through his financials and see that. So he's not getting paid from drug trafficking, or he's laundering money, and where they could do a money trail, and this is leading to a RICO. That's what a RICO status will be. So there's other parties involved, and they can go out their whole organization. Um, Combs Enterprises is a criminal enterprise. It's so far fetched, that I don't see racketeering, I don't see trafficking, I don't see any of it. This is a domestic case that was put up in the wrong court. Diddy should walk. Yeah, it's sad. Mainstream media doesn't want to tell the truth because it's a black celebrity. Let's tear them down. Let this been Tom Brady on trial. That wouldn't have happened. Peyton Manning on trial. You saw Dana White smack his wife up and kick her on the ground, and it was on the news for one day. He did 2 interviews right after, and you never heard from him again. And that's the same people that's protecting him, is the same people that was protecting Vince McMahon. You don't hear the federal government saying WWE is a criminal enterprise. You don't hear that, do you? Mm-hmm. Diddy went against the system. This is what happens when we never supposed to have that. Sad but true. Well, see, we've always had that. They looked at black people for entertainment value. Even in the most racist days in the world, they don't want you to stay in their hotel rooms. They don't want you to be in their environment thinking you'll get diseased if you touch them, but they want you there to entertain them. But you could stay here, though, and entertain us. And all of it is lies. Because all during those times, all the way up into the 1980s, who was the housekeepers? Who was the people that used to raise these kids? Black people. They used to have black people come in there, cook for them. They would cook in the house, cook all the food in the house, everything. Black women. So if we were so inferior, if we were so unintelligent, why would we be trusted in your homes? around your children. If we were so bad, then in the 1980s, as the 80s started to thin out, once the 90s hit, blacks were replaced with Latinos. Now, instead of having a black housekeeper, you now have a white one. I mean, not a white one, but a Latina. Now you got the Latinas raising your children. Now you have more Latinas, and it was less and less of the blacks raising your kids, babysitting, housekeepers. So once again, they fear perpetuates a lie. Like the lie of Emmett Till. He whistled at a white woman. Just a lie that they can make up. Because they felt like going on a rampage. They wanted to just kill somebody. And take a child out and kill him mercilessly. So we have to start evaluating what we're actually bringing to the table. Everybody's doing what we call taking a road less traveled. And once you're doing that, you're setting yourself up and you're setting the stage for your disaster. See, that's people for you. That's what we call people's fault. They're not going to care. In the end of the day, most of these people aren't going to care. No. Because it's the conceptions of reality that keeps coming back and back into play. When people start hearing that there's other people out there that just don't, for some reason, I don't know why people believe for the greater good, everything's supposed to be about them. And they constantly make that assumption, that conception that everything is supposed to be about them. If Diddy did something, it makes you feel bad when it's something that doesn't even pertain to you. Nobody was able to get anything that they inspired or acquired about because of the situations that have presented itself. Mm. Yep. Ask yourself that question though. Why do you think they do this? Hmm? The scales of balance are off. And because the scales of the balance is off, everyone is making their own interpretations of things. So if you're gonna see that and you're gonna believe it, then why would they even entertain doing anything other than for you? You know? People already today, 9 times out of 10, don't care what the general public thinks. They literally don't. But why do, if they don't care what the other person thinks about what they do, or they don't really care what the next person do, but they care so much if it's a celebrity? When it's a celebrity, oh, it's the end of the world. That's the end all be all. A celebrity said it. I'm not asking nobody to feel sorry for celebrities. Who said that? No one in here, I don't think anyone has said, do they think Diddy's a good man? No. But I don't think anybody in here has ever said those words. Hey, Diddy's a good man. You know Diddy? Yeah, I think he's a good man. I sure do like that Diddy. You know what, Diddy? He's a good man. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-hmm. Well, it didn't start out that way. That's right, Empress. But they can't. The salaciousness of the trial is part of it. They want to humiliate Diddy. Because let's say Diddy wins, right? What has he won? Besides his freedom. Is Diddy gonna be at the parties? Who's gonna invite Diddy to a party after this? He's right back to being ostracized. Nobody's gonna be taking his calls. It's like OJ when he won his case. It wasn't about if he's innocent or guilty. In the public opinion, he was guilty. The man who admitted that he killed Nicole Brown Simpson and the young kid, the Casanova killer. He's known as the Casanova killer. They gave him a name. He would go from state to state, killing blonde women. The Casanova killer was living 2 doors from her, staying at somebody's house doing some work. Came over her house and was doing work at her house. Was allegedly getting it on with her in her house. Glenn, who goes by the name Charlie sometimes, his alter ego. And he just snaps. And that was the end of old Charlie. None of this was brought up. His own brother did the documentary saying he told him he has an actual item that was from Nicole Brown Simpson that she had on her. They knew things only the prosecution knew. Right? And how did it work out for him in the end? People have been misled, tricked, hoodwinked, bamboozled, the whole nine. Now, OJ couldn't go anywhere. He couldn't live his life. If he was to get food, people would spit in his food so that it was said by the people who was there. It was like, he made an order, I just spit in it. He couldn't go out in restaurants. Restaurant said, I can't have you here, you're disturbing my guests. They're disturbed that you're in my restaurant. He was like, but you know me, I've always brought you good business. Yeah, and you've been a great guy. It's just this trial, man, it's too soon. Just give it some time. Pretty soon, they dried his money up. Nobody would do business with OJ. All his endorsements, everything dried up. So he had to move. Had to sell his home. And remember, he was found not guilty. So they've already destroyed Sean Diddy Combs. They've already accomplished that. They took Combs Enterprises and destroyed it. All throughout this case, they're trying to shock and awe the jury with bedroom behaviors and everything, and never ties it into anything, which is right on the scopes of a mistrial. Putting Dawn Richards on the stand was enough for a mistrial, because all of her stuff is hearsay. She's claiming she saw it, but her evidence is spotty. She's changed her stories 4 different times. Nothing that these people are saying are matching the government notes, which means, in case for the people that don't know, when you speak to the government, their notes, they record everything you say. So when they did their government notes and the statements that they sent over to the defense in March, these are the things they wanted to talk about. Then comes the trial in May. They're saying different things that they never said on the note that seems to be programmed by the government for them to say, as everybody seemed to have the exact same testimony as Cassie. Now, these people claim they have not spoken to Cassie. They've not seen Cassie. So how do you have the same results of what you're saying as Cassie, even down to the very same verbiage? For Kid Cudi to come out and try to use his dog as an excuse, well, if you want to know about Kid Cudi, all you got to do is go to the Patreon and we'll reveal his secret. Because if you want to know who's been to those parties, who's been active in those parties, it's nobody other than him. I know. People are clowns. I've seen clown behavior in some of everybody out here. But that's why we have laws to protect us. They're supposed to. But unfortunately, it hasn't been protecting us. There's so many people doing things that just don't add up. I don't know. People have promotions. They do all kind of things, man. Reek just here to be controversial. He don't give a cripple crap crutch about no Cassie. Just like the government don't. They don't can care less about Cassie. Mm-mm. Most people have to find their way through situations to where it makes sense for them to be involved in it. That's how it moves, right? That's how it's supposed to work. You find something that's suitable to work. I've been rather disappointed with situations and people. Mm. They had a fall off decree. And the fall off decree is that when you're not performing at an epic level or a positioning where all of these things would make sense to you, how all of these people who were attached to Sean Diddy Combs all of a sudden is not. Hmm. No, they're not coming after Kendrick Lamar. No, it was exhilarating to see people come out and show their support or nobody liked to hear what was going on. Nobody wanted to fear or have an inkling or a voice. They don't want people to have a voice. They want everybody to be minions. That's why people have all of this build up, this nonsense. So when you start like making all these changes, that's when people lose faith in you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. It's almost terrifying to talk about. But Drake is not going to testify. One, Drake doesn't want anything to do with it. He doesn't want to revisit it. Plus, his career is already in shambles. So, when somebody's career is already in shambles, the last thing they want to do, the very last thing they want to do, is revisit that. If you Drake, you want to revisit a time and you want to go on stand and say Diddy hurt you and twist your arm and beat you up and put you in the hospital, do you want that to happen? Do you want to tell the whole world on the stand, for the people that don't know, that Diddy beat you up? They are dumb. But they don't really care about the case. Their job is to humiliate. Why do you think they have 4 white women or 5 white women representing this case for the prosecution? They don't have a man on their prosecution. They got 5 white women. Like dude said, a 6 pack of white women going after Diddy. All the look. Bringing up the dog was tacky. My dog had to go through therapy. This incident traumatized him. Don Richards' testimony should be thrown out. Kid Cudi's testimony should be thrown out about the car bombing, because unless you can prove that Sean Diddy Combs did it, you don't know. Mm-hmm. No, people need to learn that there are different scenarios and situations that they could go through, and yeah, well, when people come to the realization that this is what it is, then they can go along with it. But until then, that's what you're gonna be faced with. Next week is gonna be more full of bedroom stuff. I think so too. He said, "What's he being charged for? Being a freak with other freaks?" Yep. All right. That's which isn't a crime. They trying to make it a crime. When has baby oil become a crime? When is Astroglide became a crime? There's no GBX or whatever they talking about that they put in there. No drugs. So why do you keep bringing up baby oil? Why has somebody got to bring up Astroglide? Why people got to keep bringing these companies up? Can you please land your plane? Where are you going with the baby oil? Is it a crime to own too much baby oil? Hell, you put the rubber ducky in evidence. What the hell are you taking the rubber ducky for? Yeah, they put the rubber ducky on trial. Are they gonna put it on the stand? Man, this whole game is crazy now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, at the end of the day, though, people just getting burnt out with it. Like this trial is burning people out, and they got like 7 more weeks of this. So I holler. RT, you can't afford to go to the doggone GNX tour. Stop lying. I'm out.